creation. The old has passed away, the new has come.
I am a former Mormon. My mother did the genealogy work to verify that I was born a fifth-generation Mormon. All my blood relatives are Mormons, as far as I know, every one of them still. I have 4 sisters and a brother that are all temple-married Mormons. So my father was a bishop, and my grandfather was a stake president. So I came from a pretty strong LDS home, and I found that when I'm talking with Mormons that they often want to characterize me as this bitter ex-Mormon, and actually that was not my experience. I'm not bitter against the church, although I can understand those that are. I had a good experience as a Mormon, and so I'm not here to tell everybody what a horrible time I had. So I had great parents, and they taught me what they knew, but I discovered something so much more wonderful, just, you know, as they say, beyond description, and that is the love of Jesus goes beyond anything I ever understood as a Mormon. And I discovered it through reading the Bible, reading the book of Romans when I was a student at Brigham Young University. Really had nothing to do with BYU. I just was reading the Bible and seeking Him. And when I got into Romans, it just blew me away, because I read about God's grace, His forgiveness that was offered to me as an undeserving person, someone who, while I was yet a sinner, Christ died for me. And then in chapter 10, it was kind of the clincher, because it sounded like Paul was talking about Mormons. He of course was talking about his own brethren, the Jews, but he said that his heart's desire for his people is that they might be saved, because they have a zeal for God. And of course that's what many of us experience with Mormon people. They have a zeal for God. But Paul says, but not according to knowledge, because not understanding the righteousness that comes from God, they set about to establish their own righteousness. Well, that was what my life was all about at that point in my life, was trying to establish my own righteousness, and it doesn't work.
I feel like
maybe the big sins are easy to put in there. You know, I haven't robbed any banks, but when it comes to the sins of the heart, that's a different matter, and that's just an impossible thing to ever be good enough for God in that way. But then if you go down a little bit further, it says that if you believe in your heart and you confess with your mouth that whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved. And that was where I just was broken, and I fell on my knees and I prayed a very short prayer at my BYU apartment. I said, God, I don't understand why you would give me the forgiveness of sins as a completely free gift, but it's plainly what I'm reading here. And so I'll take you at your word. I accept that gift. That's about how long the prayer was. And I didn't really realize what had just happened to me, but I came to realize later that my entire life pivoted on that moment, because I trusted in the forgiveness of God. And that's where it all began. That's what began to change me. And it's why I have this joy that goes even beyond my great family as a Mormon growing up. It's so far beyond that. It's beyond all comparison. And I would not consider going back to the bondage of Mormonism for billions of dollars. It's so awesome to know Jesus and to know His forgiveness.
I'm a new creation. The old has passed away, the new has come. Na 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 na, na 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 na. God has given me a new heart, a new spirit,
sprinkled clean by the blood of Christ from an evil conscience,
baptized into Jesus' death, and then
walking in newness of life, dead to sin.
I consider myself alive to God. creation. The old has passed away, the new has come. And I've been born again in spirit, free from death and sin. There's no condemnation for new creation.